The third step, Great Power, the Grand Elder of the Divine Sect, Water Path Master, dared to fight him. If it weren't for the fact that he was first pursued by Tua's son on the ancient star of antiquity, and then encountered Blue Dream Dao Sovereign, Wang Lin had an indescribable sense of the unfathomable nature of the ancient star of antiquity. Had he entered the Thunderflash clan, he would not have chosen to act recklessly. However, there is always a line, and if someone crosses it, Wang Lin's unruly personality would explode. Even though he had originally planned to wait for an opportunity to strike, he would still kill if provoked. The essence of war, Xingye's origin of war, had already deeply rooted itself in Wang Lin's heart. At this moment, Zhou Tianzi, with only the cultivation of glimpse of Nirvana, dared to show his fangs before Wang Lin. A cold gleam flashed in Wang Lin's eyes as he looked at Zhou Tianzi, the corner of his mouth curling into a cold smile. When his expression fell into Zhou Tianzi's eyes, Zhou Tianzi's heart skipped a beat. He felt a subtle sense of danger. Yet, in his eyes, Wang Lin was merely a core formation cultivator. How could such a small figure dare to act like this? His brows furrowed, and a murderous intent rose within him. He could never have imagined that someone would impersonate a Thunderflash clan member and enter here, even reaching the Thunder Crystal Hall. The person he considered weak and insignificant was, in reality, a ferocious ancient beast to him, with an overwhelming killing aura. At this critical moment, the 6 Thunderflash clan cultivators responsible for this place suddenly opened their eyes. Their gazes converged in an instant, and one of them stood up, looking at Wang Lin. He suddenly spoke. "Are you Yu Fei?" Wang Lin's eyes flickered. With his sharp mind, he immediately deduced that this cultivator knew his name because of the young Thunderflash clan member who had given him the Jade Slip in the East Gate space earlier. Without a word, Wang Lin flipped his hand, and the Jade Slip appeared, which he immediately tossed toward the Thunderflash clan cultivator who had spoken. The cultivator's gaze sharpened as he caught the Jade Slip and examined it. After studying Wang Lin for a moment, he cupped his hands to Zhou Tianzi and smiled. "Senior Zhou Tianzi, please show some leniency to this junior. This person is a friend of an old acquaintance who entrusted him with a task to enter the 7 million realms for trial. This task can be undertaken by more than one person, so why not allow him to go?" Zhou Tianzi's expression remained indifferent as he glanced at the speaking cultivator. He saw these cultivators responsible for the West Gate as inconsequential. However, since they had positions within the clan and were supported by an elder, Zhou Tianzi, despite his arrogance, still had to be cautious. Killing here will make things difficult for the elder. Let this reckless little insect enter the 7 million realms, where we can deal with him. No one will notice, as the 7 million realms has restrictions. Even the ancestors' divine senses cannot probe in. It's a private slaughter ground for the clan's grudges, a place for secret transactions, Zhou Tianzi decided in his heart. He gave Wang Lin one last glance before nodding slightly. His body swayed, and he instantly disappeared, entering the 7 million realms through the Jade Slip. After his figure vanished, the task Jade Slip emitted a dazzling light, which Wang Lin grabbed. His divine sense entered, and his figure disappeared, entering the 7 million realms. The 6 Thunderflash clan cultivators responsible for the place frowned, showing displeasure. "This person is too ungrateful. We helped him, and he didn't even say thank you. Forget it. I was planning to warn him not to enter the 7 million realms. He doesn't see the killing intent in Zhou Tianzi's eyes, but we do. Once he enters, there will likely be a life-and-death crisis. It's a pity for Taoist Howren's trust." From the words in Taoist Howren's transmission, it seems he highly praised this person. "This matter is not our concern. His life and death are up to the heavens." The 6 cultivators exchanged thoughts through sound transmission and then closed their eyes to meditate, no longer paying attention to the matter. As for Wang Lin, the moment his figure vanished, his vision blurred. However, his powerful divine soul quickly stabilized, and he clearly saw that he was in a narrow passage. The passage emitted a crystalline light, dazzling and blinding. Anyone touched by this light would become transparent, with even their internal organs visible. With Wang Lin's divine sense, he could clearly feel the immense barrier force within the passage, preventing any external divine sense from entering. Furthermore, He could sense the violent spatial turbulence subtly swirling within the passage. This place is very strange. The barrier force here is so dense that no divine sense from the outside can reach in. Killing here will go unnoticed. Wang Lin's eyes gleamed coldly. His body surged forward explosively, with astonishing speed, charging down the passage with a howl. The spatial turbulence swirled violently as Wang Lin's speed increased, occasionally tearing open massive rifts in the space. However, none of this could stop Wang Lin. Each time he charged, the rifts would immediately shatter and disappear. The killing intent in Zhou Tianzi's eyes was unmistakable, and Wang Lin, knowing his own temperament, could easily see it. Wang Lin had always been like this. If no one offends me, I won't offend anyone. But if someone dares to harm me, I will definitely kill them. Wang Lin and Zhou Tianzi were almost side by side when entering the passageway to the 7 million realms. At this moment, Zhou Tianzi was naturally inside the passage as well. His speed was lightning fast, but he had to avoid cracks caused by spatial turbulence, so he occasionally slowed down. Behind him, a cloak that flickered with lightning wrapped around his body, making him appear as if he were a rolling thundercloud, flashing forward. His expression was no longer the indifferent scene in the Thunder Crystal Hall, but rather one of a deep, chilling gloom, even carrying an air of arrogance. As a glimpse of Nirvana cultivator, he naturally had the pride of his position, especially upon entering the 7 million realms, where no law prevailed. It was a favored place for the powerful cultivators of the Lightning Thunder clan. Whether conducting covert trades or settling personal grudges, no elder of the clan would detect them there. In that place, the strong ruled. The passage was not long, and before long, Zhou Tianzi was nearly at the exit. A look of arrogance spread across his face, and inwardly he thought, I need to stay cautious with how Kunzi, our deal could go wrong. His cultivation level is a bit higher than mine, and if he harbors any intentions of seizing everything, I won't be his match. But I've already made plans with some friends to meet there. When the time comes, how Kunzi will be wary of them. As he pondered, his speed increased, his thoughts entirely focused on the deal. As for Wang Lin, in his eyes, he was just an insignificant insect, unworthy of concern. He would deal with Wang Lin in the vast plaza of the 7 million realms as soon as Yu Fei showed up, an instant strike to kill. But just as Zhou Tianzi was nearing the exit, lost in his thoughts about the deal, he suddenly felt the hairs on his body stand on end. A crisis more intense than anything he had ever felt in his life erupted from within him. In that critical moment, a voice as cold as ice rang out behind him. Are you going to kill me? The voice, like the chilling air from the deepest parts of hell, howled through the space and reached Zhou Tianzi's ears. His expression instantly changed, and he whipped around to see Wang Lin leisurely walking towards him. His pupils constricted violently, disbelief spreading across his face. This was the first time in his life he had ever seen anyone walking so casually in the passage of the 7 million realms, surrounded by endless spatial turbulence. The cracks and distortions of the turbulence collapsed before him, and behind him, the entire path seemed broken apart, like the world itself was being torn apart by this person. And the voice, it sent a chilling thought into Zhou Tianzi's mind. This person seemed to have shattered the very fabric of space to come and kill him. You've hidden your cultivation. Zhou Tianzi's face turned pale instantly, but his eyes burned with killing intent. As a glimpse of Nirvana cultivator, he had encountered many life and death situations, and though shocked, he quickly reacted. His body swayed, and without hesitation, he tapped his brow. A mark flew from his forehead, and the sound of thunder erupted as endless lightning appeared around his body. In this narrow passage, the thunderous power enveloping him felt like a roaring thunder dragon, its jaws opening wide as it lunged towards Wang Lin, intent on devouring him. I originally planned to kill you in the 7 million realms, but since you're asking for death, I'll take your life right here. Zhou Tianzi's voice turned cold and sinister, echoing through the passage. The roar of the thunder dragon merged with the terrifying sound of many voices, creating a massive sonic wave, amplifying his strength to its maximum as a glimpse of Nirvana cultivator. With his strike, Zhou Tianzi used all his power, showing how much he feared Wang Lin's sudden appearance and the terrifying sight that accompanied it. Overestimate yourself. All the thunder in this world, heed my command, crumble. Wang Lin's expression was calm, a faint mockery in his eyes. He raised his right hand and casually waved it forward. In an instant, the roar of destruction erupted as the thunder dragon screamed in terror, only for its body to begin crumbling from the head, quickly collapsing entirely. Within a split second, the entire dragon was reduced to nothingness. The collapse of the thunder dragon revealed Zhou Tianzi's image, now spitting out blood, his face pale, and his eyes wide with disbelief. A deep fear spread across his face, and he began to stagger backward in horror. Shattered Nirvana. This is Shattered Nirvana cultivation. No, this is even beyond Shattered Nirvana. This is... His scalp tingled, his soul nearly left his body, and in sheer terror, he instinctively began to retreat at full speed. All he could think about in that moment was to escape. 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 You said you were going to kill me. The cold voice echoed through the passage. But in the blink of an eye, Zhou Tianzi hadn't even taken a step back. Just as he began to flee, preparing to speed away, Wang Lin's voice, laced with mockery, pierced straight into Zhou Tianzi's mind. He didn't even have time to think. His pupils shrank violently. In front of him, Wang Lin had appeared at some unknown moment. His cold and chilling gaze struck like thunder and lightning, blasting directly into Zhou Tianzi's eyes. Boom, 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 boom. Like tens of thousands of bolts of thunder surging through his eyes in that instant, the force stormed into Zhou Tianzi's body and essence spirit, erupting wildly within him. A storm of indescribable ferocity tore at his physical body from the inside. He spat out a mouthful of blood, mixed with fragments of his organs. His eyes lost focus, and the terror in them was so intense it seemed his eyeballs might burst. In his entire life, the crises he'd faced, no matter how many, couldn't compare to this moment. Especially within this passage, where cries for help went unanswered and escape was impossible. He was doomed to die. At this moment, waves of regret surged in his heart. If only he hadn't provoked Wang Lin back at the Thunder Crystal Hall. How could he have ended up like this? But regret had come too late. Wang Lin's divine ability infused into his gaze, landing upon Zhou Tianzi. That gaze, like a thunderous fuse, ignited all the thunderous power Zhou Tianzi had cultivated and stored within his body over thousands of years, triggering total collapse. Amid the deafening roar, the thunder within Zhou Tianzi erupted uncontrollably. He didn't even have time to scream. His body exploded with a bang, scattering into chunks of flesh, which then shattered further, spreading endlessly. In this apocalyptic blast, Zhou Tianzi's essence spirit, wrapped in his clan mark, surged out. Severely wounded, nearly transparent, it fled with desperate speed. But before Wang Lin, even someone at the Shattered Nirvana stage wouldn't escape without his consent, let alone Zhou Tianzi. With a raise of his right hand, he grabbed the air, and in an instant, Zhou Tianzi's essence spirit, wailing, was pulled into Wang Lin's grasp. The difference in cultivation was so vast that Zhou Tianzi couldn't even self-detonate. The moment Wang Lin's hand seized him, Zhou Tianzi shrieked in panic, begging for mercy. Elder, spare me. I meant no offense. But before he could finish, his eyes widened in disbelief. At such close range, surrounded by the radiant glow of the passage, Zhou Tianzi saw clearly, for a brief instant. It was as if Wang Lin's body became transparent. Inside it, a soul was sealed. You're not. He tried to speak, but before the words could leave his lips, Wang Lin's cold expression didn't change. His right hand clenched, and Zhou Tianzi was utterly annihilated, both body and spirit. A surge of thunder power burst from Zhou Tianzi's destroyed essence spirit, instantly absorbed by Wang Lin. As for the clan mark, it too was taken by Wang Lin. From the moment he struck to the destruction of Zhou Tianzi's essence spirit, it all happened in the blink of an eye. Killing Zhou Tianzi was like crushing an ant. Wang Lin's figure blurred, and with a roar, he shattered every barrier in front of him, racing toward the exit. In an instant, he passed through it, stepping directly into the Lightning Thunder Clan's sacred domain, the 7 million worlds. Since the day this sacred domain was created, No outsider had set foot within, except for a group of mysterious cultivators who once aided the Lightning Thunder clan's third-step ancestor. Now, Wang Lin was the first outsider since those mysterious cultivators. It was a vast stretch of starry sky, brilliant stars, drifting nebulae, and within them, 7 million cultivation stars. These stars weren't clustered together, but scattered far and wide, often separated by immense distances. The scale of this starry domain was nearly infinite. Yet, in Wang Lin's eyes, it felt artificial. Its brilliance seemed decorated, its vastness carved out by force. Everything here, every cultivation star, was spaced with uncanny precision. At the center of this boundless sky lay a colossal landmass. Towering pavilions dotted the landscape, and in its very heart stood a massive statue, an enormous man wreathed in thunder, gazing solemnly into the distance like a giant surveying the stars. This was the central plaza of the 7 million worlds, the exact place where every Lightning Thunder Clan cultivator who took on this mission would appear upon arrival. Outside each of the towering halls, crowds of cultivators bustled. On this vast landmass alone, there were tens of thousands of them. The majority were at the infant metamorphosis stage, with many at the peak ascendant stage, and even Yin deficiency and Yang fulfillment cultivators could be seen everywhere. Only those above the glimpse of Nirvana stage were rare. Occasionally, one or two would appear, rushing in, then rushing out. In front of each great hall stood a massive teleportation array. It was from one of these arrays that Wang Lin emerged. As soon as he materialized, he looked around. Though he had mentally prepared himself, his expression was still filled with awe. His reaction didn't attract the attention of those guarding the array. Every Lightning Thunder Clan cultivator arriving here for the first time responded the same way. All right, stop staring at the teleportation array. You'll have time to look once you're out. This must be your first time here. Hand me your jade slip. I'll check it. An impatient voice broke Wang Lin's contemplation. It came from a Yang fulfillment cultivator sitting cross-legged just outside the array. Wang Lin took out the clan's jade slip from Yufei and waved it forward. The cultivator took it, examined it briefly, and returned it. With a flick of his right hand, a beam of dim light flew toward Wang Lin. Take this and figure it out on your own. Within the beam of dim light were 3 items: a jade slip, a spirit talisman, and a ball of thunder and lightning. Without changing expression, Wang Lin accepted the light and stepped out of the teleportation array. The place was bustling with cultivators coming and going, their voices blending into a deafening hum. No one paid him any attention. He carried the beam of light to a quieter spot, took out the jade slip, and began to examine it. The jade slip provided guidance on how to enter the 7 million worlds and included descriptions of the other 2 items. The key to entering the 7 million worlds lay in the spirit talisman. Only with this item could one pass through. But what truly caught Wang Lin's attention was the ball of thunder and lightning. It appeared to exist, yet vanished at the touch, intangible. Inside, lightning crackled and moved as if forming some kind of array. When Wang Lin swept his divine sense across it, he found that this tiny cluster of thunder and lightning was no weaker than the condensed force of 100,000 wide thunder pool. Even more bizarre, within the lightning pulsed a strange intent, brimming with vitality and faintly echoing an obsession with life. It felt less like he was holding a thunderbolt and more like a living being. This discovery made Wang Lin take a deep breath. So this is a strand of spirit thought thunder. According to the Jade Slip, every first-time entrant into the 7 million worlds would be gifted 1 strand of spirit thought thunder by the Lightning Thunder Clan. This was the only way to gather thought thunder in this realm. This strand, however, was incomplete. One would need 1,000 such strands to form a single complete thought thunder. The Lightning Thunder Clan had set this restriction to prevent clan members from exploiting their own rules to take advantage of others. Furthermore, each clan member was allowed to receive only 1 strand of spirit thought thunder in their lifetime. If it was lost, they could never obtain another from the Lightning Thunder Clan, unless they stole it or purchased it through secret dealings. Even with this rule, there were still cultivators in the central plaza of the 7 million worlds who attempted to rob newcomers of their strand of thought thunder. At that very moment, 3 cultivators had already fixed their eyes on the strand in Wang Lin's hand. Greetings, fellow Taoist. I am Zhang Jingyun. You must be new to the 7 million worlds. As Wang Lin was observing the thought thunder, a middle-aged cultivator walked over from nearby, smiling warmly. Judging by his aura, he had reached the mid-stage of the Tao-seeking realm. Wang Lin looked up. With a flip of his right hand, the thought thunder vanished. He glanced at the cultivator before him and gave a nod. We're of the same clan. This is my second time in the 7 million worlds, so I'm somewhat familiar with the place. Why don't we team up? I can show you around. It'll save you time and trouble, and traveling in numbers always helps. What do you think? The middle-aged man wore an earnest expression and spoke gently. But in Wang Lin's eyes, the man's demeanor was full of flaws. After all, compared to Wang Lin, a 2,000-year-old monster, this man's shrewdness was sorely lacking. A faint smile curled Wang Lin's lips as he glanced at the man with meaningful eyes and cupped his fists. In that case, I'll thank you in advance, fellow Taoist. The moment Wang Lin's gaze swept over him, the middle-aged cultivator became alert. He had the unsettling feeling that his inner thoughts had been laid bare. But after examining Wang Lin closely, he couldn't detect anything unusual. Smiling again, he said, "It's nothing. Clan members should help one another. May I ask how I should address you?" "Yu Fei." Wang Lin replied with a smile. "Yu Fei? That name sounds familiar." The man paused. Then his eyes lit up with a strange gleam. He cupped his fists with renewed enthusiasm. So you're the fellow Taoist Yu Fei who just made it onto the Thunder Flash ranking today. A pleasure, truly a pleasure. After a few more pleasantries, thinking he had seen through Wang Lin, Zhang Jingyun said, "Fellow Taoist Yu, this isn't the best place to chat, and the formation for the 7 million worlds is about to activate. Why don't we head out now?" With Wang Lin's agreement, Zhang Jingyun led him through the crowd and into the distance. Quite a few cultivators noticed and shook their heads in secret. Another poor soul about to fall for it. Anyone taken away by Zhang Jingyun usually ends up not just losing their thought thunder, but their life as well. Zhang Jingyun clearly knew the Central Plaza well. In no time, he brought Wang Lin to a massive formation. Outside it, hundreds of cultivators waited in groups. Among a group of a dozen, 8 or 9 seemed to be newcomers like Wang Lin. The remaining 4 radiated powerful auras. One had even reached the Yin deficiency realm. "Everyone, I've brought back another one. This is Taoist Yu Fei. Surely you've all heard the name." Zhang Jingyun stepped forward with a hearty laugh. The 8 or 9 cultivators, clearly newcomers to the 7 million realms, all cupped their fists toward Wang Lin and exchanged a few words, mostly the usual praises of his famed reputation. But to Wang Lin, their inner thoughts were as transparent as children's, clear and shallow. As for the other 4 cultivators, whose bearing matched Zhang Jingyun's, they scanned Wang Lin like he was a lamb waiting for slaughter. Their smiles were forced, their greetings perfunctory. The rest of the cultivators outside the formation stood indifferent. They had clearly noticed the underlying tension, but none intervened. In the central plaza of the 7 million realms, scenes like this were commonplace. Zhang Jingyun and his group subtly arranged themselves into a surrounding formation, ready to deal with any surprises. Wang Lin swept his gaze over them once, and then closed his eyes, ignoring their exchanged thoughts and unreadable expressions. With Brother Zhang taking action, of course it was a success. To think he actually brought in Yu Fei, who just made it onto the Thunder Flash ranking. Impressive. Still, we should be cautious. For someone to enter the Thunder Flash ranking, he must possess something extraordinary. We can't afford to stumble. Brother Zhou, you're being overly cautious. He's only at the early spirit transformation stage. Let's be honest, any one of us could crush him with a single move, let alone the 4 of us together. And don't forget, Senior Zhao is here. That guy won't be able to stir up the slightest wave. That's true. Senior Zhao is already at the Yin deficiency realm, just one step away from Yang fulfillment. He stands above thousands. With him around, we naturally follow his lead. With the thought thunder collected from this batch of newcomers, the few of us can finally condense a complete spirit thought thunder. Then we'll be able to exchange it at the Thunder Crystal Hall for those 4 immortal-grade flying swords. Not long after, the formation housing these hundreds of cultivators began to flicker with light, signs of activation becoming evident. The surrounding cultivators immediately perked up, some even showing visible excitement. clearly relishing the feeling of merging with the path of the heavens. Even the Yin deficiency cultivator among Zhang Jingyun's group licked his lips in anticipation. Moments later, the formation roared to life, and Wang Lin opened his eyes. Everyone, the formation is activating. Take out your spirit talismans now. The 5 of us will join forces to protect the transmission, ensuring we won't be separated once inside. When we enter the 7 million realms together and become part of the path of the heavens, what joy that will be. Zhang Jingyun's face lit up with excitement as he spoke. The feeling of becoming the path of the heavens, even once, is enough to make you crave it, he added with a grin. Enough talk, let's go. Seeing that Wang Lin and the others had taken out their spirit talismans, Zhang Jingyun gave the word. Surrounded by his companions, the group shot into the sky, heading straight for the formation. The instant they stepped into it, the formation exploded with blinding light and an earth-shaking boom. A storm erupted as if to tear the very fabric of the starry sky, engulfing them all and splitting the heavens apart before vanishing within the formation's depths. Thunder roared as the heavens trembled. In a certain corner of the 7 million realms, wind and rain lashed out in chaos. Endless storms swept the land, thunder booming across the sky, and rain poured from the clouds in heavy drops. Amidst this, a mortal city lay on the ground below. Night had fallen, and the rain pounded the streets, leaving few people in sight. But atop a distant mountain peak, a figure stood tall. He had a head of flowing white hair, eyes that flashed like lightning. In the wind and rain of this dark night, he shone like the sun. His posture was upright, radiating the aura of the peak's spirit transformation stage. His white hair danced in the wind, and his blue robes snapped loudly in the storm. I, Liu Bei, began cultivating at 7. I came to understand the transformations of heaven and earth, watched the swirling of wind and cloud. I reached spirit transformation at 372. Over 500 years of cultivation, and today, I have stepped into the peak. Now, I shall break through the heavens, face the heavenly tribulation, and ascend to the immortal realm to become a celestial being. His voice was calm, almost like a murmur to himself, but his head was lifted high to the sky, as if roaring toward the heavens. This tribulation, if I fail, I'll reincarnate and begin anew. But if I succeed, I will await you all in the immortal realm. His eyes flashed, and with a wave of his wide sleeves, thunder exploded from the sky. Under the lightning's glare, the darkness of the world was illuminated, and at the foot of the mountain, thousands of cultivators were kneeling. Each wore an expression of fervent admiration as they gazed at the figure atop the peak. Every one of them was a disciple or descendant of this old man. Ascend to immortality. I, Liu Bei, will become immortal today. If the heavenly tribulation blocks me, I will transcend it. If celestials bar my path, I will slay them. With a deep roar, the old man launched into the sky. At the same moment, the heavens howled. Clouds and wind reversed course, and tribulation clouds appeared from nothing, spreading across the sky. As they continued to condense, they became a vast ocean of heavenly tribulation clouds. Within those clouds, faint figures began to emerge, over a dozen illusory forms, glowing with crystalline light and suffused with immortal qi. To the naked eye, they looked just like true celestial beings. Especially behind the more than 10 illusory figures, it seemed as if space had been torn apart, revealing a vast continent. Towers and pavilions spread across it, surrounded by immortal qi, with countless immortal cranes flying in the air. In the distance, an immortal palace stood tall. Immortal realm. That is the immortal realm. The ancestor is undergoing tribulation, and more than 10 immortals have appeared at the same time. This is an auspicious omen. An auspicious omen. The thousands of cultivators around the mountain peak immediately widened their eyes, staring at the sky in awe, their spirits lifted. This was the first time they had witnessed such a scene in their lives. As they watched, their desire to become immortal surged crazily in their hearts. The moment the tribulation cloud appeared, a tremendous pressure descended, causing the ground to shake. The thousands of cultivators outside the mountain peak were immediately pushed away, expelled from within a 10-mile radius. Wang Lin was one of the illusory figures. He stared blankly below, feeling an extremely strange sensation, while others might have been ecstatic at this moment. After all, the feeling of embodying the Tao of heaven and undergoing heavenly tribulation was enough to immerse most cultivators in it, making them unwilling to escape. Wang Lin had experienced tribulations himself, and not just once, but several times. This was something almost no other cultivator could truly understand or appreciate. Wang Lin had undergone tribulation, and the tribulation he faced was identical to the one the elder below was experiencing, except it was larger in scale and more powerful. A terrifying feeling spread in Wang Lin's heart, preventing him from joining in the excitement. He felt no joy at all. As per tradition, once the formation is activated, the tribulation bearer will appear. This time, everyone should not compete with Zhang for the opportunity. How about letting Zhang have it? Zhang Jingyun, his eyes filled with excitement, quickly cupped his fists toward a few others beside him. All right, we'll let Brother Zhang have it. The others laughed heartily and nodded in agreement. Zhang Jingyun's excitement grew even more intense. With a flicker of his body, he shimmered and stepped forward, emerging from the clouds into the world beneath the tribulation cloud. At this moment, he was surrounded by immortal qi, and anyone who looked at him would feel an involuntary sense of reverence. He raised his right hand and pointed toward the elder below. A sound like thunder rumbled from his mouth. Lower realm cultivator, undergo tribulation and ascend to immortality. As Zhang Jingyun's words echoed, a thunderous roar emerged from the tribulation cloud above, and a bolt of lightning, as thick as a water barrel, shot down toward the elder below. The elder, Liu Bei, stared blankly at the sky. His scalp tingled as he saw the more than 10 illusory figures in the tribulation cloud. He never expected that his tribulation would attract so many immortals. At the same time, a sense of pride filled his heart. With a low growl, his entire cultivation surrounded him as he charged toward the lightning strike. The thunderous sound shook the world, causing the entire sky to tremble. Even the rain falling from the sky was reversed and shattered. After the lightning struck, the elder's face turned pale, and several of his magic treasures exploded. But he did not despair. Instead, his eyes gleamed with defiance. With a roar, he formed hand seals and set up many layers of protective barriers, preparing to face the second bolt of heavenly thunder. Wang Lin stared at everything in shock. His heart trembled, and it took him a long time to calm down. At that moment, a young man dressed in black, who had just arrived, looked around with confusion and asked, "Fellow Taoists, why doesn't the tribulation destroy this person with a single strike? Why does it increase in intensity with each strike?" When the question was asked, Wang Lin's eyes gleamed with a strange light. He had also gone through tribulation in this manner. The first strike was not very powerful, but it gradually became stronger with each subsequent strike. Before entering the 7 million realms, this question never crossed Wang Lin's mind. Everything seemed as it should be, without doubt. But now, this question struck his mind like lightning. The Tao of heaven is merciful. Even amidst danger, it leaves a thread of hope. The heavenly tribulation is merely meant to temper the cultivators of the lower realms. Only when it becomes stronger and stronger can it break their spirits and make them feel the overwhelming might of the heavens. Of course, this is the grandiose explanation passed down by the clan. In reality, the reason the tribulation is controlled to grow increasingly stronger is to force the cultivators to struggle for survival and to showcase their defiance. Only then can the strange power known as spirit thought thunder emerge within them. The cultivator surnamed Zhou, who had been conversing with Zhang Jingyun, slowly spoke. These words struck Wang Lin in a different way. He closed his eyes, and a storm of thoughts rose in his mind. He began to vaguely understand something. Below, the second, third, fourth, and fifth bolts of heavenly thunder flashed out from the tribulation cloud under Zhang Jingyun's control, rumbling down toward the elder. At this moment, Zhang Jingyun's face twisted with excitement. This sensation was, to him, 1,000, even 10,000 times more enjoyable than dual cultivation. I am the Tao of heaven. I bring down the thunder. The thunder roared as the tribulation crossing elder, under the onslaught of successive heavenly tribulations, coughed up blood. His body was torn and mangled, and his eyes slowly filled with despair. At this moment, the sixth heavenly thunder came crashing down. This sixth bolt of thunder was several tens of meters wide. The moment it appeared, it stirred the heavens and the earth, causing the ground to violently tremble, as if it were on the verge of collapsing. With a deafening crash, the elder let out a final roar of defiance in his life, struggling to resist. "I will become an immortal." The voice was thunderous, reaching Wang Lin's ears and causing him to open his eyes. Thunder rumbled as the sixth bolt of heavenly thunder struck. The elder's physical body shattered and his soul was annihilated in the storm of lightning. The tribulation clouds in the sky gradually dissipated, but Zhang Jingyun, still unsatisfied, swayed his body and stepped into the storm of tribulation. Apologies, Zhang Jingyun muttered. "It's been a long time since I last became the heavenly Tao, and I failed to control myself. I ended up eradicating these ants from the lower realm. It's a pity. This person wasted his cultivation reaching the peak of spirit transformation, yet he was too useless and failed to give birth to the spirit thought thunder." Zhang Jingyun shook his head repeatedly, a thoughtful expression on his face. "It doesn't matter. In these 7 million realms, there are plenty of opportunities. The birth of the spirit thought thunder isn't easy. It's all about chance. For now, we should deal with these newcomers first," the cold-faced cultivator surnamed Zhou said, his right hand sweeping downward. Instantly, the tribulation cloud swirled, blocking the view of everyone below. He then coldly turned his gaze toward Wang Lin and the others. Not just him, but aside from the Yin deficiency cultivator who closed his eyes and turned a blind eye to the events unfolding, the other four, including Zhang Jingyun, immediately surrounded Wang Lin and the nearly 10 other cultivators. "You?" The newcomers' faces changed drastically. Some of them immediately shouted in anger. "We have no enmity with you. What is this about? We're all from the same clan. What do you intend to do? Attack!" The Zhou cultivator sneered, his body flashing forward. Thunder clouds swirled around his hands, forming 2 massive thunder whips. He didn't aim them at Wang Lin, but lashed out at 2 of the weaker cultivators. The other 3 also made their moves. All of them were cultivators in the mid-stage of the Ascendant realm, and their attacks were swift and brutal. Having worked together before, they quickly launched a massacre. Screams rang out as the Zhou cultivator's strikes were merciless. He targeted 2 cultivators who had just reached the infant metamorphosis stage, and they had no ability to resist. They immediately perished in a tragic and bloody death. Their flesh and blood scattered, filling the air with the stench of death. The one who turned to attack Wang Lin was the previously gentle-faced Zhang Jingyun. He seemed not to have fully recovered from his transformation into the heavenly Tao. His eyes gleamed with contempt and pride as he formed hand seals, summoning thunderous lightning that crackled like a heavenly tribulation. "Ants of the lower realm, offer up your thought thunder and die." His voice twisted with malice as he surged toward Wang Lin. Wang Lin's expression remained unchanged. He raised his right hand and clenched it toward Zhang Jingyun, and instantly, the malice in Zhang Jingyun's eyes shattered. His face turned pale, disbelief flashing in his eyes as his body froze in midair, as if an invisible hand had seized him and held him in place. "You." His voice trembled as he stared at Wang Lin, terror seeping into his gaze. Before he could finish speaking, a terrifying shock surged into his body, causing him to shudder. His agonizing scream echoed through the air. "You compare yourselves to the heavenly Tao, bringing down tribulations as you wish. Then now, I am your heavenly Tao. I am your tribulation." Wang Lin's voice was cold, carrying an indescribable weight as he squeezed his hand. With a loud bang, Zhang Jingyun's body instantly collapsed into blood and flesh, just like the elder who had perished in the heavenly tribulation. His flesh scattered, and both body and soul were obliterated. This sudden turn of events caused the surrounding cultivators to tremble, especially the 3 who had accompanied Zhang Jingyun, who were now finishing off the rest of the newcomers, collecting their marks. The terrifying scream of Zhang Jingyun and Wang Lin's cold words reached their ears, causing them to look on in utter shock and fear. Zhang Jingyun had thought he was leading a lamb to slaughter, but the price of death made him realize that what he had led was not a lamb, but a ferocious wolf from the inner realm. The Yin deficiency cultivator, at this moment, opened his eyes wide in disbelief. His body trembled as he clearly felt the overwhelming, suffocating power emanating from Wang Lin the instant he killed Zhang Jingyun. Under this immense pressure, he couldn't summon the strength to resist. His scalp went numb, and his mind was engulfed in waves of terror. His body instinctively began to retreat, but the moment Wang Lin's cold eyes swept over him, he froze. His heart pounded like thunder, and he spat blood. "Who gave you the right to escape?" Wang Lin's gaze retracted, but those words made the Yin deficiency cultivator's soul almost explode, causing him to vomit blood once more. He didn't dare to flee. At the same time, the three Ascension Realm cultivators surrounding the Zhou clan cultivator trembled as they desperately retreated, attempting to distance themselves from this place. This place that filled their hearts and minds with terror. But what awaited them was the flash of red light in Wang Lin's eyes. A bolt of red lightning shot out from his pupils. Extreme Realm. Most of the Extreme Realm resided within Wang Lin's true body, and only a small part was contained in the physical body he had taken over. However, this moment, he still unleashed it because this was the heavenly tribulation. I shall be your heavenly tribulation, and naturally, I will use the heavenly tribulation to destroy your spirits. The red lightning howled as it struck toward one of the cultivators. The cultivator's pupils were completely replaced by red light. In a panic, he let out a shrill scream, but in the next instant, the Extreme Realm lightning flashed, piercing his body, entering him, and annihilating both his body and spirit, causing everything to collapse, just like those who perished in the heavenly tribulation. You compare yourself to the path of heaven, but you overestimate your strength. If you are the path of heaven, then I am the tribulation that destroys the heavens. Wang Lin's words were spoken, and the red lightning tore through the blood mist of the cultivator, racing toward the second cultivator. That cultivator's eyes were filled with dread. In a frantic roar, he slapped his forehead mark and took out nearly all his magic treasures, revealing a look of madness. He chose to self-destruct, but not even Zhou Tianzi had the qualification to self-destruct in front of Wang Lin, let alone these mere Ascension Realm cultivators. The moment his magic treasures were summoned, they immediately shattered under the Extreme Realm red lightning. Even his self-destruction was extinguished by the red lightning, as if flames were doused by cold water. His body trembled, blood poured from his 7 orifices, his physical body shattered, and his spirit was obliterated. This all happened in an instant. Killing these few was effortless for Wang Lin. Mere Ascension Realm cultivators dare to compare themselves to the path of heaven. The arrogance of the Lightning Thunder clan will be the root of their annihilation. Wang Lin spoke as he turned and gazed at the Yin deficiency cultivator who did not dare to flee. He didn't even glance at the last Zhou clan cultivator who was struck by the red lightning and died immediately. Next, it's your turn. As Wang Lin's voice fell, the red lightning of the Extreme Realm, which had killed 3 cultivators in succession, suddenly swept forward and rushed into the Yin deficiency cultivator's body. His body trembled violently, his pupils dilated, his soul perished, and his corpse did not shatter. Instead, it fell from the sky, landing on the ground below. However, his clan mark between his eyebrows was ripped out by Wang Lin from afar as his body fell. Below, thousands of cultivators who had been filled with sorrow immediately witnessed a scene that would haunt them for the rest of their lives. A corpse exuding immortal aura, the corpse of an immortal. The body of an immortal who had just been standing in the tribulation cloud moments ago, fell from the sky with a thunderous crash. As it descended, it seemed as if layers of veils were forcefully torn apart, causing the immortal aura on the corpse to vanish. The body no longer appeared as an immortal, but rather like them. Just another cultivator. The corpse's forehead was a bloody mess, and with a thundering sound, it hit the ground. Its dull, open eyes still exuded the lingering fear of death. This is what you call an immortal. Wang Lin stepped out of the tribulation cloud that vanished in the sky. He gave the earth a cold glance and spoke those words, turning to take a step into the distance. His figure disappeared from the world, but his image was forever etched in the hearts of the thousands of cultivators. Even after Wang Lin left, these thousands of cultivators had yet to recover from the shock. On this day, they had witnessed the heavenly tribulation, seen the ancestors struck down by it, and watched as an immortal's corpse fell from the sky. They had also seen a mighty existence capable of killing immortals, and heard words that sounded like mockery, but were more of self-mockery. The thousands of cultivators approached the corpse, staring blankly at it. So, this is what immortals are. But why do I feel that this person, like us, was a cultivator? Just stronger than us. After a long while, as the thousands of cultivators slowly recovered from their shock, a gentle voice echoed through the heavens and earth, reaching their ears. May I take this corpse with me? As the voice spoke, a youth appeared, a bald youth with a compassionate face. He walked through the void, stepping closer to the corpse. You are, among the surrounding cultivators, an elder who had reached the late nascent soul stage spoke with hesitation and surprise. As you wish, anyone in the 7 million realms is as such. If you desire it, so am I. The bald youth smiled gently, no longer bothering with the others. He reached out into the void, taking the corpse into his grasp, and began walking toward the distant void. His eyes fell upon the direction where Wang Lin had disappeared, and a strange expression appeared on his face. He's different from those who claim to be the path of the heavens. He, perhaps, is not a thunder slave, the young man murmured as his figure faded from the world. His cultivation had clearly surpassed the peak spirit transformation stage, surpassed even the level of ascendancy, faintly reaching the realm of pure nirvana. Such a thing should be impossible within these 7 million worlds. Utterly impossible. If the Lightning Thunder clan were to discover this, it would cause a massive uproar. Countless cultivators of the Lightning Thunder clan, even that ancestor in the 5th decay of heaven and man who had been secluded for years, would be alarmed and rush to investigate at once. At that same moment, outside the 7 million worlds, within the territory of the Lightning Thunder clan, on the cultivation star that Wang Lin had left, Su Liguo was gleefully leading thousands of people, continuing his grand plunder. His seat, previously 100 feet wide, had now expanded to 500 feet. Seated upon it were numerous stunning female cultivators. Among them was one woman whose beauty was breathtaking. She sat coldly, her eyes filled with hatred as she stared at Su Liguo. You're just a weapon spirit. How dare you capture me? You've brought about a cataclysmic disaster. Not only you, but even your master will be wiped out before long. It doesn't matter who you are, or what status or cultivation your master holds within the clan. You both are doomed.